last year. Now, today I want to speak about a famous rabbi of his time, Rabbi Eliezer Ben Arhah. I believe he passed away, it's chronicled over, on the 3rd of October in the year 1651. So we're going in mid-17th century territory over here on this video today. He was actually a rabbi in Hebron, I think from the year 1615 until he passed away. Varying opinions, states around 1652, it was another opinion 1651. He would actually also live in another holy city of Israel, Tzfat, and also in Gaza. Mostly he was a rabbi over there also. His response, let's just say, contained questions from all over Palestine and beyond, demonstrates, let's say, the wide acceptance of his authority. So he was as a big figure in himself, and would also reveal various details about the lives of Jews living in the land of Israel at that specific point in time. Actually, just quite recently, in the last 50 years, I think in 1978, they will be published over here. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he wasn't just a great prominent chacham in his time period. He was also a Dayan, and he was head of the congregation of the Jewish community in Hebron, and also the Dayan of Gaza, interesting enough. So, obviously, we've spoken about on various occasions before. Now, it's actually interesting. Rabbi Eliezer was born in Tzfat, and he was the son of another great rabbi, Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Arhah, who was, I think, a Talmid. He happened to be himself of the Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Ari Luria Ashkenazi, one of the great rabbis of his time. And we've spoken about, that specific golden Kabbalist day era of Tzfat on various different videos, and we've spoken about various different great rabbis also from there. I think come with the year 6. So I'm not too sure when exactly Rabbi Eliezer was actually born. So if anyone knows, please let me know. But I believe what the time period about 1605, he would actually at that stage in time go to Gaza and work as a Dayan over there, as a judge. 1616, we'll see him progressing. This time he's going to come to Hebron over and become a rabbi there. And 1626, he will return to Gaza again to work in the rabbinate role. So you can see Gaza, many people question, were Jewish people there? Yes, very much they were. We've spoken about various other rabbis in this series that would have a prominent position in Gaza at different periods of time. So Rabbi Eliezer will then, absolutely, he will come to the city of Hebron, settle there. And the Jewish Hebron, I think, at his point in time, if I'm not mistaken, was only just a small amount of 20 families, I believe. So it wasn't that well populated at that point in time. There's been periods of time where it's been much, many more families than that. So he was coming at that stage in time. He would arrive there and take on various different importances over there. He would work in and, to settle the community, really mitchazek, let's just say, the community at that point in time. And he did a huge, extensive amounts of Torah study over there, Torah activity. He was able to recruit many people to come to his community, to come to Hebron. It's actually interesting. The grandfather of the Chida, another famous rabbi, Rabbi Avram Azilei, was one of the great rabbis, I think, connected to him, as we mentioned before. Remember, I think this was it was a golden time period in of itself. So Rabbi Avram Azilei, he was a grandfather of Chida. He would be one of the rabbis that would come and learn, I believe, and spend a window of time in Hebron. It's actually interesting. Just say a word with regards to Rabbi Abraham Azilei. He lived between the years 1570 to 1643. Actually, his Hilula is on 21st of Cheshvan. We actually spoke about him. He was also a great Kabbalist. He was a great posek, and being the great grandfather of the Chida. Obviously, he was from Fez, from Morocco, and would take on various important roles over there at that point in time. I was at a time period where there were great rabbis, like Rabbi Chaim Vital, Rabbi Shmuel Vital. There was a great Kabbalist dynasty that actually took place in those periods of time. He was a great author also, Rabbi Abraham Azilei was. He wrote books such as the Hava, Tanugim, Baalei Brit Avram, the Agaot Shel Halvush, Kanafra Nanim, and various other great books also. So he was there at that period of time very much where Rabbi over here we're speaking about Rabbi Eliezer Ben Arhah happened to have very much have been. So we have to point that out. Now it's actually interesting. More would actually progress within Rabbi, and he would raise funds extensively for the expansion of the Jewish community in Hebron and purchase various different houses at that point in time. And many people, let's say, would come in and out traveling to Eretz Yisrael. It was known as a place where Torah study will start, let's just say, expanding in of itself. There was a huge potential that was coming on. More lands were being purchased. And many people will come from outside of Israel, I think, to stay in Hebron, so he'd have places over there. And he, various different Shochei Drabbans, rabbinic mercenaries, will actually go represent Hebron to various different cities all over, let's say, the globe, especially North African places, respectively, and so on and so forth. Now, I think around the year 1650, there was more happenings going on. And it's actually interesting. I think one of the rabbinic emissaries, if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Moshe Peretz will be one of the Shochei Rabbanans that will represent the Jewish community of Hebron, very much so. And much would be traveled and chronicled within regards to the things that he was raising money for. So you see how it evolved. When he came, it was a very, very small Jewish community, and more happenings were coming, Torah studies at that stage in time. Now, it's actually interesting. I think as a more rule of thumb, let's just say, in the early years, many of the rabbis would actually be very much connected, raise funds, and travel to Italy. That was one of the places. Like, I think, for example, one of the great rabbis of Italy at that point in time was a rabbi called Rabbi Shmuel Avuha, a rabbi we've spoken about before. He happened to be a posek of halacha, a rabbi rendering different Jewish laws, one of the great rabbis of Italy. He was actually very close to Rabbi Moshe Zakuto and various other great rabbis who wrote great Torah, colossal works over there, which I actually have to point out. So he was in correspondence with, not just with the great Rav Chacham we're speaking about, but also with what was going on in Eretz Yisrael in different parts of the places where people were actually leaving Israel, especially from Hebron, to raise funds, and they would go to Italy. That will be one of the ports of call over there. So I'll say to what it says over here. Rabbi Shmuel Abuhav, שהיה אחד מגדולי רבנים איטליה, פעל למען גיוס כספים עבור ארץ ישראל בכלל והעיר חברון בפרט. הוא הכיר והעריך מאוד את גדולתו של רבי אליעזר. So seemingly, Rabbi Shmuel Abuhav would really see the greatness with regards to Rabbi Eliezer and with regards to the importance of Hebron and the Torah there and the Jewish life over there in of itself. Now, I believe he passed away on Tetzvav Cheshvan. It was the 15th of Cheshvan. We're talking all the way back in the year 1651, with nearly 400 years ago. That was the 30th of October. He was buried in Maharatz Hebron, I think quite near the other great rabbi, Rabbi Avram Azaleh. I think he passed away in the year 1643, if I'm not mistaken. Now, it's actually interesting. He would leave behind two sons, I think rabbis also. Their names happen to have been Rabbi Yitzchak. He left around great Torah colossal works also among his, let's just say, many writings of his will actually be included, for example. So many of his teachings will get perpetuated. I think the Chida, in his famous book called the Shem HaGdolim, which was a great book, he actually says that HaChida Katav B'Sifro, he writes in the Shem Gedolim. Rabbi Eliezer Ben Arhah Katav K'chamishim Svarim. He quotes that the greatness with regards to Rabbi Eliezer, how he would actually write 50 different books, and explains different books that he would write, including the Perush L'Midrash Rabbah, Hagaot Al Hayat HaChazaka. That will be another great one. And Perush L'Ein Yaakov V'Sefer Drashot. So very some great books that Chida himself will actually talk about. Even Rabbi Avram Azaleh will quote and write with regards to Rabbi Eliezer. כתב בהקדמת לספרו חסד לאברהם כי הוא נעזר ברבי אליעזר בר ארחא בכתיבה חיבור, about like the great writings of him. And I think there will be writings that will be left actually from him. I think in modern day we only have, I think, among the books, a book with full of different answers, questions in a bit, but I think it was left as a partial amount. Let's just say. But we do learn a lot with regards to it. I'll just state what it says over here. כי יום נותר לנו רק ספר תשובות. אחד שכתב רבי אליעזר בר ארחא, וגם הוא חלקי. אך דרכו ניתן ללמוד רבות על חייו, ועל הדמויות שהוא היה בקשר עמם. השלה, רבי שלמה עדני, Baal Melechet Shlomo, Rabbi Yaakov Abulafia, Rabbi Moshe Galante Ba'od. So it's interesting, at that time period, there were other great rabbis, like Rabbi Yaakov, I think Abulafia. Also, I think Rabbi Moshe Galante Harishon was also a great rabbi that lived during his time period. He passed away, I believe, way before that Rabbi Eliezer passed away. I think Rabbi Moshe Galante passed away in the year 1612, if I'm not mistaken. He's a rabbi we spoke about on various occasions before. Just say something about Rabbi Galante. According to some opinions, it was around 1608 he passed away. He was also a Talmid of Rav Yosef Karo, the author of the Code of Jewish Law, and wrote various different commentaries on various different great books, and was very, very much, let's say, connected with many rabbis, and left 2 Torah colossal books, the Miftah HaZohar and the Keilat Yaakov. So he himself passed away in Sfat, obviously part of the Ottoman Empire, in the year 1608. So those are actually interesting tidbits that we also have to pass on with regards to the greatness of Rabbi Eliezer over here inside this series, which I very, very much recommend everyone to look about him and learn about him in a great amount of detail. Now, I think, yeah, so, and I think we've spoken about him on various occasions before here inside the series, which I will, let's say, very much recommend everyone to look about. I think some of his writings, if I'm not mistaken, is actually included in National Library of Israel on the actual website itself. It's chronicled over, and much more can be happening. You can actually see a lot of information in various different books in regards to Rabbi Eliezer about the important work that he did. I think it was way after, I think the Ora Mizrahi in Jerusalem will actually publish some of his teachings, some of his responses, if I'm not mistaken, about various different importances, which we have to also point out. So yeah, very, very interesting. It happens, his Hilula is still a few months away here, I think in the middle of Cheshvan. But friends, over here, we are a community. We are learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear here on this channel. If you descend from any of the great rabbis we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information on the great Chachamim over here. And if you feel any of your friends are interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people. We are a community over here that is learning about the great Oriental rabbis of yesteryear, the great Asian rabbis, North African rabbis, Ottoman rabbis from those different parts, those different times in of itself. And we really value the importance about it, the history, the greatness, the culture, the heritage with regards to these communities. So please, if you do descend from any great rabbis, let me know more information about them. I'd love to research more. If you look at the stories of Tzaddikim section on this channel, it could be there's a good chance we have spoken about the great descendants that might have came from these various different countries. Also, we don't just record videos on the great rabbis of yesteryear here on this channel. We will take on various different other importances over here. We record with a great Jewish personality here of modern era. That's one of the projects that we're working here on this channel. We see the value within regard and importance in regards to that. That's another project we are doing on. We'll get a bit of a huge amount of inspiration, and which I feel is very, very important for all of us. And we also record videos on the daily tidbit of the Daf Yomi, also to get more inspiration. We go on tours all over this country, all over Israel. We like to tour around, explore, enjoy, and that's another project that we are working on, and learning just more and more and more. So I think it's very, very important. So friends, please, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. We're nearing a staggering 7,500 subscribers at the moment, which is a phenomenal achievement. So please, everyone, subscribe, join, and enjoy. Thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it.